Do you really?
Yeah.
Because I just unmuted us. What's up, Jess?
What up?
We're doing an audio check. Okay, cool. How about you, Jake? Say
Testing.
Audio check. Testing 1, 2, 69.
For the listeners out there, what we're doing is Jake's listening to the broadcast on his phone to make sure that we can hear our voices.
We've
So-
messed up this process almost every single time.
Every time we don't do this, when we do this, it works.
Here at 118 West Studios, we take our audio very seriously.
Even when we do test, though, we frequently...
Yeah, okay.
I think we're good. Yeah. There's no fuzzing, right?
Nope. I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, what are you going to do?
All right. We've gone live officially.
Yeah,
We're
welcome to the 118
Welcome,
West Live
loyal
show.
fans, listeners, near and far,
Yeah.
to another episode of the...
You think
What-
there, you
what
think there
episode-
might be aliens out there that are receiving this broadcast light years away
They'll
Quite
get it
possible.
eventually.
from here?
What episode number is this?
I don't know. We've done a lot of these, but we've changed the names. We've done different.
We've rebranded.
This is
That's
the
I think that's
several
why
times.
we're not big yet. We've just had too many name changes.
Well, we're
Who
figuring
knows
it
the
out.
following that we would have if we had.
I mean, I think once we pick a lane and stay in it, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, we found our lane.
The sky's still the limit now.
That's true.
I meant it more in the colloquial sense, but yes.
If you're new to the show, we haven't recorded any episodes recently. In the summertime, we generally opt for playing poker outside.
Illicit gambling.
Yeah. But as the temperature drops, we move inside and record captivating live shows where we mostly talk about surfing, skiing, and just general activities that we're up
Yeah.
to.
West Coast living.
We do
Yeah.
it for the culture.
Yep.
Yeah.
The culture of the 118 degree.
Because 118 degrees is the meridian between Southern California, hits SoCal, which is pretty tight, and then it also goes up to the Sierra, which is pretty cool.
And British Columbia,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and I have the Guadalupe in Mexico too,
Yeah.
which is closed to fishing now, but
I think we're technically here we're recording in Costa Mesa or streaming in Costa Mesa, and I think we're technically 117.
117, yeah, for sure.
But it's a vibe. It's a 118 vibe thing, really.
Yeah, but if you move to north of here, any north of here, it'll
South
be
Bay?
118. Yeah,
Yeah.
then it'll be 118.
Official. Yeah, so we're missing, sometimes we have a fourth member. I guess we've had a fourth member on the couch, but frequently they're going to be dialing in remote,
Yeah, Ryan.
either Ryan or Chad.
Yeah,
But yes, welcome loyal listeners and happy can't talk.
That's a hard word to say.
Meteorological winter as of December 1st.
What's
What?
the difference between
Really?
meteorological winter and
Well-
astronomical? What's the
Well, there's like calendar winter, right? December, whatever I think it's just
solstice, right?
Yeah, it's how like meteorologists measure like it's when winter starts in their book as far as like
What-
categorizing storms.
What we're currently in.
December 1st.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
So-
sure feels like winter outside.
Yep.
yeah, it's in the 40s, low 40s these nights, which is pretty tight.
Now there's substantial debate. I don't know if you guys have seen online about whether or not we'll have a good winter or not.
I'd like
And
to
It's getting pretty feisty amongst like weather people. I
to revise
I think
my
it's going to come to blows.
Well, apparently NOAA is saying it's going to be pretty. CPC says equal chances for all as far as
what is
precipitation.
what
and
is the
above average.
CPC?
Climate-
I already know, but explain
Sorry,
it like
the Climate Prediction Center has us down for equal chances for all from about Tahoe south for precipitation and above average
That's very,
temperature for us in Southern California. There's a lot of people online that are saying, no, that's nonsense. It's actually a really weak La Nina. And they cite past years where these ingredients existed, where they had mega winters, 2015 being one of them, 2009. Anyways, several examples. So we'll see.
Do you think that's a reliable indicator for weather or like climate prognostication, going back and looking at other winters with like similar variables? Is that like is that the generally like tried and true?
I think it's a big part of predicting weather, right? Is looking at the ingredients that exist in this season and what happened when those similar ingredients existed in years past and what kind of weather it caused. I don't necessarily know if that's like a catch-all,
Yeah.
but it's like certainly a way of trying to forecast.
it feels like it makes sense, but then also it feels like if it was wrong, you'd also be like, duh, dude, of course there's something's going to change.
It is pretty interesting what they're saying is happening and why it's going to be a bitterly cold winter for a lot of the U.S. They're calling it like a polar vortex. And I guess essentially what happens is the polar regions are unusually warm for this time of year, and it ends up disrupting the jet. So storms that normally come in and kind of like move across the country, the jet stream gets interrupted, and it ends up forcing a bunch of cold air way further south than normally happens. And at the same time, systems that would normally just move kind of like laterally end up descending down before then moving across.
So do you think it's going to be a banner ski year for ski resorts in North Carolina?
Oh, they say Pacific Northwest
West
is going to be a
Virginia.
really gnarly cold and wet year, and then the Northeast is going to get hammered, and Colorado apparently maybe kind of the tipping point, but Montana, Wyoming should get.
Should we do, I think next week. Next week I'm headed to Whistler, even though I won't be skiing. Should we do a live episode and I can report from the road
That'd be nice.
on some BC conditions? I think Whistler is having a great start to the season.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to mentally
It's
handle
going to
that?
be, I mean, it'll be fun to be on a trip, but yeah.
Yeah,
Sledding,
Whistler looks
maybe?
pretty skiable. already.
Sledding, I could probably sled.
You mean like snowmobile?
No, I mean like physically
What about,
slide my body down.
what
like
about,
a sk-
what about snowmobile?
Snowmobile, or maybe I think we might like go.
Put some
Actually,
good boots on, dude.
last year I was there with Lizzie and her family, and we met up with Chad's wife Tiffany, who was there on like a work trip, and she went to like the Olympic bobsled course and said it was epic. So I think we might do that this year,
Nice.
which I'll be able to do, which would be awesome.
That would
Jake,
be very
If
you
we do-
dead, Mon?
Yeah, should I bring an egg with me?
That would be rad. Is it similar? Do they put you in those bobsleds kind of like they used to have at Big Bear that have like actual roller wheels? Or you
No, I
on
think
the
you're in a
straight
real.
bobsled?
I think you're in a real bobsled, and I think you go with people like someone that knows what
pro.
they're doing.
That'd be really cool.
Probably honestly an amateur, but still someone that knows more than.
What else could you do? You could go dog sledding. Although that
Yep,
might,
I think that might be on the agenda as well.
dog sledding would probably work. Snowmobiling, I think, could totally work if it wasn't
Yeah.
too gnarly of snowmobiling. That
Yeah, I
didn't
think-
require
It could be
like just a casual.
troubling to put. What we're alluding to here is I have this like long-standing ankle injury that makes skiing not in the cards for me right now. But yeah, I think any sort of like impact potentially in a snowmobile like could not feel great. Although that could happen. What
But
if
if
I
you-
wreck terribly bobsledding?
But if you're not doing snowmobiling, like aggressive
Sure.
snowmobiling where you're standing up, if you're just sitting down, on
Yeah.
like a, just
I don't know. I'm going just to it's a vacation, and
nice.
I'll do a lot of
Jake
A
can't,
lot of kick-
Jake
a
can't
lot of
control the
kicking it.
inner sled neck in him.
But I can report back on the conditions of the BC snowpack.
Jake's gonna be overheating in the hot tub, saying they have smoothies.
Wait, oh,
That's awesome. That'll be fun. Is the other family members skiing?
I think everyone else will snowboard. I think it's mostly a snowboarding family. It's mostly
Nice.
snowboarding family.
It's a good family. They're not.
It's funny. I think some of our most repeated topics on this show are in the weeds discussions of weather and skiing versus snowboarding.
I'm less sure about weather and the science behind it because I don't know a bunch about it. I am certain snowboarding is cooler and better than skiing.
I'll give you this. Snowboarding culture is cooler than ski culture.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. 100%.
Well, it's not like you guys are water skiing, you surf. Perfect example. I actually, that's a good point. We've never actually brought that up. What is the comparison? Okay, there's a clear evolution from like surf, skate, snowboard.
I think
culture.
surfing is the
What is-
skiing of the ocean world and boogie boarding is the snowboarding.
Is that what we're gonna call it?
Listen, if I had a
Like,
boat,
what is the comparison?
dude, if I had a boat, I would try water skiing as well as wakeboarding because maybe water skiing is just as much more fun than snowboarding.
There's
Listen,
not a good comparison because they're both insanely popular snow sports. There's nothing parallel to surfing that people do on wave.
Boogie
Maybe
boarding.
supping,
boogie boarding.
I think
Yeah.
boogie board people are into boogie boarding.
but it's like, yeah, I guess, but not in the same like numbers.
Yeah. What
The people you see boogie boarding usually aren't like. It's rare to see a really good boogie boarder. It's not rare to see a good surfer.
of
There's-
ocean sports is surfing the most popular form of like utilizing waves?
I
It's
would-
got to be, right?
Yes, no question. What else would be? I mean, at least what I've witnessed in my life in California, certainly.
Do you think more people surf or ski and snowboard?
Ski
Ski and snowboard, I think.
by
than-
far.
than
I
use
think
the ocean.
it's in mass because the barrier to entry is just really money. It's not a matter of geography or like think
Well,
of
it's a little bit geography.
No,
Well, I
but-
think it's more convenient than surfing.
it's far more convenient. Like it's a known entity, and if you live in most of the U.S.
What
during
about- what
6
about
months
in-
of the year, it's not hard to get to a ski hill.
What about in 50 years?
I think also I think the ski and snowboard industry too is much larger than the surf industry, like dollar for like by dollar. You know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're like a billions of dollars.
I mean, the conditions the conditions might not be good, but I'd say there's at least 30 states in the union where 4 or 5 months out of the year, you can drive an hour and you're at a hill.
Yeah,
You can't do that surfing. Like there's really a limited amount of. I mean, there's California.
Maybe in the future with wave pools you'll be able to.
And think about this. Think of how less popular it's an inhospitable. The ocean's pretty inhospitable along most of the coast. Surfing becomes, I would say, less popular the further north you go. There are way less surfers in Oregon and Washington than
it's
there
also
are in
much
southern-
easier to learn to ski or snowboard. You can get pretty like to the point where you're having a lot of fun on skis or snowboard in like a day or 2 days. You know, surfing takes like days and days to get to the point where you're even standing up.
Do you remember the first day that you got on a snowboard? Either of you?
Yep, I remember it like it was yesterday. I think the year was
No.
1998, winter of 97 or 98, one of those, one of the two. And we went to North Star, and I was given a rental. It was a OSIN board, original Sin. It had click-in bindings. I want to say it was probably like a 136, give or take. And we were.
You were 10.
No, I would have been like, I think it was 9. So it probably was 97. Winter of 97,
Yeah.
I think was the first year we came up there. And we were taken up Bear Paw, I believe was the lift. And
I
we
think-
did like one run and we were like, this is amazing. And then our dad was like, all right, well, that was great, but you guys clearly need lessons. Like it's time to go do the lessons. And we were enrolled in that ski school. And we did some more bear paw laps. And I think later that day, after we were fed lunch, we decided, like, I think we got this. And we ditched the school or ditched the instructor on a run and ended up going down
The village run.
the village run, knowing that, like, probably we shouldn't have done it, but I think we took a few more runs and then like ended back up at the like school, and they were upset with us, but they were just more relieved they hadn't lost 2 kids. And then our dad picked us up, and that was the last day of ski school. Actually, I think I got forced to do one more day, and I was really sour about that because I was hearing reports like me and Jake are doing like blues or whatever. And I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good to do it. I think I got stuffed in like one more day and then no more.
When do you think you first tried snowboarding, David? Was it after meeting us?
No, it was before that. It was like probably when I was 16. Yeah, I guess no. It's because it's when I was in Boy Scouts, which was before I knew you guys. So I must have been like 13.
Was it a Boy Scout related adventure, like trip?
Yeah. Like a handful of trips, like the local mountains. I think what's the one, Snow Valley?
Yeah.
I think it was at
That
Snow
has
Valley.
Boy Scouts written all
Yeah,
over
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it's a simpler time, to be sure. The late 90s. It's crazy to think like at the time everything seemed so like advanced or like I didn't have anything to base it off of, but it's like you look back now, it's like that snowboarding at that time we started it was no more, it wasn't more
Pretty
than
new.
about 9 to 10 years old commercially, maybe less. In fact, North Star, like many of the Tahoe resorts didn't even start allowing snowboarding till like the later 90s.
Yeah, that is kind of wild.
So we were kind of on the cutting edge of like I think Squaw and Alpine were the last 2 in like 96 or 97. But in the early 90s, most of the Tahoe resorts did not allow snowboarding, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's like it was a pretty new thing.
the cutting edge technology of a boot with 2 metal posts shooting out on either side of it to go into a click-in binding.
Yeah.
And I do recall
I can remember being so jealous of people with their own equipment that had regular like ratchet strap bindings,
Yeah.
and it was like a clear sign of like you were on rentals to have a boot with the metal studs.
I remember how sore my calves would be at the end of the day because there's no high back. The high
Yeah.
back was your boot, and those things were rental boots, so they were packed out. So the flexing you were doing, like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
That is where North Star, like when we first started snowboarding, is where I developed a deep love for ripping down a crowded, easy run, like the Village Run, and just like slaloming through other slightly more beginner skiers and snowboarders.
I think our first day, we did pick it up really fast. My memory's a little hazy, but I think how quickly we picked up snowboarding is like in the top less than 1% of most people on their first day snowboarding. We were like flying down the Village Run at like high speed the first day.
As how fast can you go down the Village Run?
Well, I mean, I remember that when we ditched the instructor, we ended up, I distinctly remember accidentally snowboarding over the back of some lady's skis, and it like my weight caught her. And I remember when I went over them, she just like, it literally like picked her up and she just flew. And I remember looking back, I'm like, that is not good. But
I'm not stopping.
I better not stop now. But we were going pretty quick, I'd say.
30
Just
miles an hour.
Young
No,
menaces.
probably not 30
No,
miles an
I
hour.
don't think you could even get going that
But
fast. on
we
that
were
run.
going, I was already snowboarding better than like a lot of people I taught years later ever learned days and days in. Like, it's a pretty hopeless case for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to learn.
Some people just get doomed to be falling leaves for a long time and just kind of
I never felt great on a snowboard.
right
feel
before
like
we
I
started
got much-
recording this, we were looking at an old video, probably one of David's last times on a snowboard
Yeah.
in the local backcountry here. We were snowboarding Charlton in iffy snow conditions, and
And with a really shitty snowboard too. I had a really shitty snowboard.
It's
Yeah,
the
I think-
carpenter that blames his shoddy tools.
at the time David and I were both on split boards that we had built ourselves,
Homemade.
homemade split boards that we cut and installed this kind of like janky volet split kit on.
No, I bet we had Spark R&D bindings for those. Remember, we had those by the end.
By the end,
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe
yeah, who
in
knows?
that clip
But in the
we said
beginning, we were on
Volley.
these, the Volley slider
Yeah,
kit. We did a lot of trips on some pretty like questionable gear.
yeah. I think that cutting the snowboard down the middle made it much noodlier, and I don't think like. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Not having like a edge either.
I bet it's I bet it's so much better to ride these new split boards that are like manufactured as split boards.
Totally. And I think they're probably just like stiffer in general,
Stiffer,
like
tighter, like when they're put together, it probably actually feels like a one board.
Extra credit if you can remember. I do remember the cost of a lift ticket in roughly that era. I don't know if it was the first trip we did or second trip, but I have a pretty distinct memory of
Late
and I remember
90s.
thinking,
25
damn,
bucks.
that's expensive.
49.
$45, I
Yeah.
believe, for a day
Wow.
ticket.
What do you think the locals cost back then? Like Big Bear or Snow
Probably
Summit,
30,
20 something,
25. But
30?
I mean, okay, inflation adjusted, still very expensive, but long before they flipped the model, because
Yeah.
what it was the buying power of $45 in the late 90s is not more than, what is it, three
Oh,
times
no,
what it
dude.
is?
I saw a thing that was talking about the cost of the season pass. It's gone up like the price of the season pass has gone up like 9 times faster than the rate of inflation. It's not inflation.
Is that totally
driven.
true though? Because like back in the day,
Mammoth
Mammoth
passes
were
were
not
over
cheap.
$1,000.
They were like 300.
No, they were
No.
like
Weren't they?
$1,200.
they were, I mean, like it used to be you could say they were more expensive than the Icon Pass. Now I think the Icon
And
Pass
it
is like
was
gone
just
up.
to Mammoth.
Yeah, it was just a Mammoth Pass, and it was definitely over $1,000.
But that's back when again, that was before they flipped the model. You could get
Yeah.
a lift ticket
Yeah,
for
yeah.
$60 back
Yeah.
then, or $50. So you had to go, you had to be you essentially had to either live there or be someone that took obscene amounts of ski vacations. And it's like they were, for better or worse, smart to realize, wait, what are we doing? Let's make the pass expensive but attainable, and let's make the tickets
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I think what you're referencing is true, Davey. I think it's for lift ticket prices, right?
I guess maybe, yeah.
Like
yeah.
the cost of a lift ticket
Okay,
has
fine.
gone up way outpaced for inflation.
Yeah. God, those were good days.
Remember the $150 June Mountain College Pass days
Oh,
The
such a
Mammoth
dream.
Pass was $299, I believe.
Yep.
for a college pass?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know, but at that point, then the real pass must have been like $500 for the
Probably.
So it's
Kirkwood
Yeah.
passes, the Kirkwood College Pass when we lived in Tahoe was like $249, I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
what's not to like? I still think we got robbed.
I think
You
bear
didn't need to-
passes were like $375.
Our first Bear Pass was $199. I still have it. For the
Yeah.
student one.
How many? We skied a couple of seasons where we were like season pass holders.
I think the only year we were season pass holders, we went up sometimes, but the only year we bought season pass was the year before moving to Tahoe. Maybe 2. Maybe we got 2. I still have my 07-08 season pass.
Remember clipping tickets? You
Yeah.
can't do that anymore.
Nope.
No. Although you could now, it's even easier. I think at a lot of places you could just pay for somebody's like card.
I guess, yeah.
I liked poaching.
Back in the day, we used to clipping tickets referred to like ski passes were on like a wicket, like a wire wicket, and we'd loiter in like the local parking lot, looking kind of suspicious between
Midday,
cars. Yeah, like roll
you
up
know,
Done with
late
the
morning,
ticket
noon.
there.
midday and try and find people leaving the resort early, and then like sidle up to them like surreptitiously and ask them if we could buy their lift ticket
No,
off
preferably
of
just have it.
them. Have it, but we'd pay. I think we'd frequently
Yeah,
offer
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Hey, can I get your ticket for like $20?" And then you'd have to. They'd like. It seems like frequently people would be like, "Okay, how does it work?" And you'd be like, "All right, I gotta hold this lighter near you and like warm up the adhesive and melt it."
No, you just clip it with.
Or you get the little garden clippers.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
snip it.
But I
clip the
think I
metal.
remember doing it with a lighter sometimes, like where you'd warm the adhesive and then just like slowly pull it off.
That's deluxe. I remember just clipping it.
I think I clipped one time, but then it would like fall like I remember it had someone's name that wasn't mine on it, and I was skiing it bare, and it just fell off because it wasn't like, it was a clip ticket. And then there's some like lifty like that grabbed it and was like, Daniel, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not Daniel. Suddenly I was like, oh shit, that's my pass. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Daniel. Like,
They didn't used to even put names though. If you went back, I remember when you bought tickets, it was just one day. It would have like December 22nd and a barcode.
yeah. If we have anyone watching or listening, do you think it's a status symbol to have like
I still have some.
20 tickets just fanning off of a jacket zipper or a pants zipper?
There's still resorts out there that do the wicker system, like small
Yeah.
indie resorts. I'm sure not everyone has the money
No.
for RFID. Yes,
Yeah, I think I've been to one
For sure.
relatively recently.
No, they might not have the RFID gates, but I'm sure they all have the RFID. A lot of like,
No, I went
You'd
to
be
one
surprised.
that was still metal thing that you put through and stuck the thing over
Yeah.
it.
There's some teeny
really?
resorts out
I
there.
don't remember where it was. It could have been Lizzie and I skied at a place in just outside of Vancouver that was really small.
okay,
I forget.
hey, here's a question.
No, they had Icon.
If you could ski somewhere right now, assuming your ankle is better,
Mm-hmm.
or snowboard, where would that place be?
Right now,
If it was in like prime conditions too, like,
prime conditions.
A dream
like
location
a dream trip
for
for this winter.
Does it have to be a resort? Can I be dropped off on top of something? How far can we extend this?
I mean, a heli trip would be pretty tight.
Could I be? I think it'd be sick to take okay, now we're getting to legality, but a heli trip to Mount Shasta midwinter. You have Avi control done in advance down the gulch, and you just take laps.
That's your dream, is to ski avalanche gulch on Mount Shasta
On a powder day?
of
I
any
think it'd be
locations. I think there's way sicker. Well, hey, I don't want to knock
No,
on
it has to be a resort.
A resort? I'd probably choose one I haven't. I think midwinter Silverton trip.
Ooh, that'd be a dream. We should plan a trip at some point in a winter to Silverton.
Yeah, I'd love
Would
to.
you get a guide?
I think it'd be really fun to do if you were at a place like Silverton, which is a really small resort in southern Colorado, with like one lift and then a lot of backcountry, and they have heli skiing there. I think it'd be really cool to do a guide one day with a group of friends, and then you'd probably get introduced to some cool areas, and then you could go back
Yeah.
on your own. I think on a trip to Silverton, it'd be really cool to do a day where you got a heli, a day where you had a guide and just went on foot, and then a day or two where you went on your own.
Maybe a bald-faced lodge trip.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if I have the coin for that or the clout.
you don't need coin in this imaginary thought exercise of
The Bald-Faced Lodge is not a resort.
No, but it's an
Yeah.
operation.
I said it has to be a resort, just to narrow it down.
Yeah, I'd love to do some Colorado. It's sad that the extent of my Rockies snowboarding has been Eagle Point, which is technically a sub-range.
No, that wasn't the Rockies, right?
Yeah, it's a sub-range.
No.
what, Eagle Point?
Yeah.
No.
Those
don't think
mountains
so.
are considered same as the Wasatch. Those are a sub-range of the Rockies. Yeah.
It would be sweet if Eagle Point started advertising that. Eagle Point, deep in the heart of the Rockies.
I'm pretty sure pretty much all the mountains that have ski resorts in Utah are considered a sub-range of the Rocky Mountains.
Really?
Yes.
I don't
The
think
Wasatch are like a sub-range.
But I don't think anyone that skis in Utah would, if you're skiing there, would be like the best skiing in the Rockies. I don't think they call those mountains like.
so. He
Well,
didn't say it. Jesse said it was a sub-range.
I'm just
but
saying
But doesn't that imply that it's within the Rockies?
geologically that's what they call the Wasatch, is a sub-range of the Rockies.
Oh. Yeah, I think.
I mean, Jesse's probably right, but it doesn't.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't-
whatever
it doesn't seem
whatever
like
came of that Juneau thing. How's driving into Juneau?
You can't do it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's unique among state capitals in that it's not accessible by road.
Is it the only state capital in the United States that's not accessible by
Yeah,
road?
Yep.
No, I don't think you can drive to Honolulu.
There's other major cities that you can drive to though, on the island.
What major cities are on Oahu outside of Honolulu?
I don't know.
Makai.
It said on Wikipedia. It said Juneau is unique among state capitals and that it's only accessible by plane.
That feels like it could have been trivia during like a swim
I'm
workout.
pretty sure you can get there by boat. I
And
took
boat.
a boat.
Yeah, plane and boat.
Yeah.
All right, what's your dream ski resort destination, Davey?
Mountain High.
Nice.
Yeah, are you a Skittle or a waffle?
I don't know.
It's a
You know what?
steezy choice.
Revelstoke was very fun. I would like to go back to Revelstoke, but I don't know.
But do you go for a place that you've already been to?
Rockies might be cool if it was really good snow.
Alps? I didn't
Yeah.
even think. I didn't expand.
I would go to
Yeah.
Italy. I'd go to Ski Dolomiti.
Did
Really?
you see that avalanche? Did I
Is that
send
on
you
the
that?
Icon Pass?
It is on the Icon Pass. I think it's the largest ski resort in the world. I think it's a collection of like a bunch of smaller resorts that all kind of came together, and they have over 300 lifts that are like in this like network of all these different mountains that are like together in one mountain.
Can you ski
Yes.
continuously amongst them all?
Yeah, you can just. I think it involves doing crazy traverses. You
With
know, of like
tours.
these big things. But I think it'd be cool to spend 2 weeks at Ski Dolomiti, which is funny because I have a feeling if I was more experienced with ski resorts in Europe, it might not be like the best ski resort over there, but just the grandest ski experience of being
What
like
about
in the
Chamonix,
Italian
though?
Alps.
What about Chamonix though?
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Chamonix actually.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
definitely
my
Chamonix.
bus. My bus. Chamonix.
Did you see? I don't know if I sent you that video of these skiers that all just got mowed down by
Yeah.
an early season avalanche in the Alps.
Yeah,
They all
It's
survived.
horrifying.
They got them.
It
That was
is
insane.
a crazy video though.
Some of them kind of outrun it or do outrun it, and others just
Yep.
lose the battle and just get absolutely annihilated. But they all survived, which is pretty impressive.
There's a bunch of different like angles, different people people in like a lift
There's
going
people
up.
being towed on a tow bar. They're just like, oh boy, and it just like sweeps down right by them as they're being towed up. Like, what do you do? Hold on to the tow bar?
I
and
would
just
let go and traverse
try to
away.
Oof. Yeah, the Alps would be nice, and they're supposed to, with the current weather system, they're supposed to get slammed and have been already
Yeah,
by this current iteration.
Do you think you could hold on to the tow bar?
through an avalanche.
Yeah.
No. Have you ever like some? We don't have. There's not a lot of resorts around here in California that use like the tow bars that much. Feels like Kirkwood had one,
Kirkwood had a few, North Star back in the day,
but it feels like they're kind of a rarity. But other places employ them like all over the mountain
and they employ them through some pretty steep terrain.
and icy sections.
Really?
Yeah, there is one that I was on a ski trip actually with Matt and Jason we were skiing at Banff, and it was a super steep like black diamond terrain with like a schleppa, like a T-bar that just went up, and it was very steep and like icy underneath it.
Was it sketchy?
It was super sketchy. And there was like multiple. I mean, I feel like I was or am a pretty competent skier, and I was definitely like concentrating and making sure that I wasn't slipping off. And there was routinely people like making it a third of the way up and then
Giving up.
losing it and like sliding down like in the path, taking out other people.
Do they make you click in both bindings on a snowboard before you do that? That would be
I don't
extra sketch.
I think they do. I think you have to like push up to it. I don't think you're in both bindings.
Imagine a tow bar up Cornice.
This was like that, but gnarlier because it wasn't like a groomed run that you were being towed up. It was like a channel of like icy. It was sketchy, and there's trees around. Like it was.
Although I would kill to just, if I had my own mountain, right? Like steep terrain. I don't think, do you even need a ski lift? Like that's thinking too grand. A tow bar taking you 1,000 vertical feet up I deal with the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, but what about in deep powder?
You'd
Trying
have
to ride a tow bar up.
You'd need to hike the first lap and like or like snowboard or ski just in a straight line beneath the tow bar
Yeah.
to get it packed. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Or you could just get a snowmobile.
That's true. I suppose.
Or a cat.
Ooh. Cats, what's up? I would love to go on a cat skiing trip. Cat skiing seems like just my speed.
Yeah. We had talked about doing one for next year for our 40th birthday, but there's no way that I'll be skiing.
What if
And
The show.
we'll
What
have
if
to-
after the surgery you just become a sled neck? Like you don't go back to skiing. You've just after this Whistler trip, you just fall in love with snowmobiling.
that would be surprising.
We talked about that on that Revelstoke trip, and I think sled necks are tight.
It's very popular in
Canada, it's huge.
in BC.
There's just way more available snowmobiling.
When on my first trip to ski in Canada with Chad back in like 2017 maybe, we went to Revelstoke. Chad was in BC for a month, just like living out of his Jeep and skiing at all these places. It was a pretty core ski trip. I don't think I could do a month of just roaming around, sleeping in a Grand
Yeah,
Cherokee,
he crushed it.
and skiing
Going from
basically
place to place.
almost every day. Like ski 2 or 3 days, take a rest day. Ski 4 days, take a rest day, and just camping in a Jeep the whole time. But when I met up with Chad, we had booked an Airbnb at a place outside Revelstoke called Nanimahu's Sled and Bed. And when we showed up, we skied Revelstoke one of the days, and we were like tired, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go to the sweet Airbnb. And we showed up, and it was this massive like barn with like a defunct, not usable hot tub in the middle of it. It looked sick, but didn't have any water in it. It was not functioning. And then like a bedroom with like or bunk room with like 10 bunks.
Just
And
in
it
the open?
Yeah, basically like in a slight like separation like from the main area, but it's just like this wide open space. And I remember we were like, this is going to be awesome. And then she was like, all right, there's going to be like 5 or 6 like, like sled necks coming and joining you tonight. And Chad's like, no, we booked this place like for ourselves. And she was like, no, this is like shared bedding or whatever. And it was this huge like blow up of him being like, no, like we booked a private place. And she was like, no, there's a bunch of other people coming in tonight. Like you're going to have company.
And you did?
And we bailed. Chad was like, no, we're not. We didn't. It was like a
Where'd
big
you go instead?
kerfuffle. And we stayed in a hotel, I think.
Hey, I think you're right though. If we go back to Revelstoke, we should stay at on the resort right
In the
there,
village.
and then you just
Wonder
drive
if Chad
into
ever got his money back.
He did, I think.
Sled necks take some extraordinary risk. You got to give them credit. Like
Yeah.
I don't have data to back this up, but I'd say
I think it's in the name.
there's seasons in Canada where the more avalanche fatalities, it's more snowmobiles than skiers.
Oh,
I think
all the time.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think you can just get into way gnarlier terrain way easier.
And you have a heavier
And it
thing to
disturbs
trigger
the
'em.
snow
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah. And one of the things I think that people that enjoy snowmobiling like to do is like jump
Highline.
off of highline or jump off of things and like land like down into bowls,
You do at least at your disposal, if you set one off in the right scenario, though, at least have maybe the opportunity to outrun one. Like you're not limited to just gravity.
Yeah. But I feel like operating a snowmobile is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, that's true. Oof,
Yeah.
be fun.
It would be fun
I've
to
only
do.
ridden on the back of a snowmobile. I was not entrusted during the Tahoe years at the resorts to drive one. It's
Smart.
probably
I don't
good
think I've
move on
ever
their
driven a snowmobile either.
I've
It would if you had access to a snowmobile, I think it would be really fun to run like a tandem operation on the backside of Mammoth down to the Reds Meadow Road
Yeah.
and just drop a friend off at the top and then snowmobile down the switchbacks and meet him at the bottom and then
I
come
see
back up.
snowmobiles parked in people's houses in Big Bear, but is it strictly forbidden in a lot of the local mountains, or can you just go out sledding?
I
for
think
a
you
day
can
in
do
the
it on
national
roads.
but not in the national forest.
I think you can do it on a road in the
Yeah.
national forest. So if you can drive a car, like if it's a dirt road, like a Forest Service road, I think you can snowmobile on
Could
it.
you do it to the one in Gorgo up to Poop Out Hill?
I don't know. I
That
do
would
know
be
that
awesome. Just snowmobile to the top of Jepson.
I know that Terry has taken his e-bike like well past that road, and I think he had an interaction with a ranger who didn't say anything.
I think on Saturday I might go hike up Gorgo.
Really?
Yeah, go scout it out,
You should take photos or video if you do.
see what the snow looks like. What do you think it'll look like?
I bet you
There'll be some good coverage.
there
on
won't
the-
be any. There'll be no snow on the trail for the majority
Yeah,
of the hike. You're gonna go the North Fork way.
yeah, I think so.
There'll be a fair amount of snow though on the mountain.
Do you want to take my e-bike?
No,
Okay,
That would save you a lot of time.
you could take the e-bike to Poop Out Hill.
that is true. But
Are you gonna do the original trail, like from the actual?
I was thinking about that because isn't getting up onto like, you think there's like any sort of a use trail or a way to get up there? Every time I've done it, it's been like shitty bushwhacking on like half
Yeah.
snow, half bushes. That hiking up would be miserable.
Yeah,
I mean, why do Gorgo? Maybe just do a Snow Creek day.
No, Snow Creek would suck. Dude.
Snow Creek would be miserable.
I don't-
Even at its best, I'm not interested in Snow Creek.
If you can't handle Snow Creek at its, or if you can't do Snow Creek at its best, you don't, or at its worst, you don't deserve it at its best.
At its best is deadly.
No, Snow Creek.
Isn't
It
that
could
the
be.
exact drainage
There's
that
no falls.
massive avalanche
Yes.
was ripping down in that video?
That is,
That looked like a Himalayan avalanche
yeah. Do you remember seeing that clip, Davey?
No.
It was recorded by someone. I think it was
on the 10.
by someone driving on the 10 freeway, and yeah, it is
A powder cloud
Like
roaring down the
an
whole
avalanche
mountain.
that you would see like ripping off of like an 8,000 meter peak
Wow.
coming down Snow Creek, and yeah, it would like
Had you been in
anywhere in that
drainage,
drainage,
you'd done.
like up high, you would be toast. Especially if you were above the falls. That's like the section like at the 5,000 foot level.
Yeah, and there's no fall zone skiing on it, right? Because there's
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
rappels
Yeah, yeah.
involved. So
The first, I mean, you could call it no fall zone, but you'd have to fall for a long time, and then I think it goes like flat before the.
I'd never
falls.
seen footage like that I'd never seen an avalanche like that even in the Sierras footage.
No, I know it's outrageous.
that's crazy.
It probably whatever did that on Gorgo must have been similar.
Whatever did what? on
Remember
Gorgo.
that massive swath of trees that's just flattened on the
Oh yeah,
hike?
there's like two Abbey paths on Gorgo when you're hiking in on the North Fork Trail, but I think only one of them is like a true Abbey path. I
Yeah.
think the other one is just like a drainage.
Okay,
Yeah, they
but one you
really
can see what the trees. There were trees there,
Yeah.
or what's left of them. I mean, to do that to like trees of that size, that's
What year do you think the first time that we went backcountry skiing or like went into the winter to
2011.
Gorgo?
2011 was the year. That's the year David bivvied in the storm in February.
So it's been almost 15 years of going back there.
And I don't
Yeah.
think we'd have been back there. We'd hiked as kids near the camp
Yeah.
to Poop Out Hill, but we'd never hiked. Well, granted, we didn't make it to Gorgo on that trip. I think we topped at about 9K.
We didn't even have. I didn't have a split board at the time. You and I were snowshoeing with solid boards. That still to this day may be the most snow I've ever seen back there.
That was a good year for
Yeah.
the Sierra, too.
Yeah, 2011.
10 and 11. When we got there, before the storm hit,
It was.
the creek measured probably 6 or 7 feet of like consolidated snow.
I took a photo. I think I still have it somewhere of the sign when you're entering the San Gorgonio Wilderness, and you can barely see the top of the sign, like
Do you
poking
remember
out.
Jesse climbing up a stump and jumping into the powder?
Yeah,
That was one of the more excruciating walks I've had through snow for that long, and I
Yeah.
reminded me if you were farther out, a situation where it snows that much, you could be in serious trouble. Like, what if you had done a trip where you traveled 15, 20 miles and then you had the gear we had? I mean, it took us the entire day from like 4 a.m. to 2 or 3 p.m.
I don't think we were hiking at 4 a.m. I think we woke up at 4 a.m.
we were hiking.
We
still.
started a fire. We were hiking probably by like
But I mean, how
8.
7
we
or
made,
8.
it took us 10 hours to make it 3 miles, 4 miles.
Yeah.
It was miserable hiking. It,
It was
was slow going.
Yeah, we hiked back to the junction for where you can split off to go to like Dollar Lake or Dry Lake or Dollar Lake, and didn't make it any further, which is probably good because there was so much snow.
My skin wasn't sticking.
Yeah,
I had a split board with skins. I was
but no
living
tail
it
clips.
up. I was living it up, but I let my skins get wet.
You were still in better shape though than us. I feel like on the way out, or did you just post hole boot it?
I had a post hole boot for a lot of it because it was flat.
Yeah,
Oh, those stupid MSR snowshoes. Absolutely worthless. You might as well just be walking with boots.
Although I did it recently with Matt. We skied out the trail. It's really not that bad. There was only like maybe 100 yards that we had to click out and walk up. It was actually pretty chill to ski out on the trail.
yeah.
I wonder if there's a pair of snowshoes out there that's like performance snowshoes that actually work as intended, where you don't sink. Because my experience with those MSRs is like they're glorified crampons, really.
I
They
remember
give you a little more purchase if you're going up consolidated.
they help you in powder a little bit.
Eh.
I remember the first time that we used snowshoes was on David and I went on this winter backpacking trip with a couple of lifeguard buddies, Greg and Kevin, and we tried to go up Mount Tyndall,
Yep.
and we must have done we had done other like winter trips where we didn't have snowshoes because we brought snowshoes on that trip,
We were pumped.
and we were so psyched. Like I remember,
we had tennis shoes and
T-Mac.
gaiters.
yeah, I remember David had like a pair of like approach shoes,
Yeah, leather low top approach shoes.
and I had a pair of basketball Tracy McGrady 3 basketball shoes.
Our whole plan hinged on us having an illegal fire, and we had a
Every
fire
night.
when we got to camp to dry out our socks and like warm up and stuff. If we couldn't have that fire, I think we might have gotten frostbite.
Yeah. That was a super cold trip.
We had wool socks, you know.
but they got
Looking
wet.
back on it, would you be the type of person you like sneer at now?
No.
No, because we had too much pride to call for. We figured it out. But
If
we had
I
too
saw
much pride
someone
to call
getting
for
it
help.
like that, I'd be like, good for them.
That was a hysterical style of trip because we did it capsule style. So we hiked in the first night and we went up this like section of trail out of Independence
Built your
where
base
there's
camp
like 99 switchbacks and set up a camp. We were like
Yeah.
wrecked from doing these
and then
switchbacks.
hike down.
No,
And carrying a bunch of extra stuff.
but we carried all this gear, and so we set up camp at the top of the switchbacks, and then the next morning we're like, all right, this is our camp one. We're gonna take like a lighter load and leave some stuff here, but we'll take a lighter load and push the camp further. And then the next day we like labored all day through the snow and made it to Anvil Camp, which is like right at the base of
Did you still have
Shepherd
a
Pass.
tent at the base camp?
No, but
Oh,
we
okay.
left a bunch of like heavier like supplies like canned beans and other stuff and
yeah,
like
beans.
at Camp One. And
Maybe
then,
hamburger meat too, I think.
yeah.
So then you set up advanced base camp.
So then we had our advanced base camp at Anvil Camp, and I think we spent 2 nights there. So we got there the first night, and then I think we woke up the next morning and pushed, and we tried to go to summit Mount Tyndall, which is a 14.
Did you set up a final camp in the death zone?
No, no, but I remember there was a frozen lake up there that we were having a blast on, like running, like sliding around on.
We went up Shepherd's Pass. Shepherd's Pass was pretty steep on the snow, even with the snowshoes. Like,
Yeah.
wanted an ice axe on it for sure. And it was a trip having the heel elevators on the snowshoes. Remember that going
Yep.
up Shepherd's
Steep
Pass?
as scimitar?
Similar. Very similar.
Scimitar is pretty high consequence. If you slip and head skiers left, you're gonna take
You might go over
quite
the
a
edge.
quite a ride.
We came pretty. David and I came pretty close to summiting,
We got like
Tyndall on
halfway
that
up
trip.
the rib.
and it was in like pretty like, not blizzard, but like really windy, like drifting, blowing like snow.
We were pumped.
How
Yeah.
close did you get?
Probably within like 1,000 vertical feet
Yeah.
of the
I
summit,
agree.
maybe.
Is that where you ran into the bighorn sheep hunters?
Yeah,
At the end of
On
the
way
trip.
out.
Yeah, I think there were deer
Is
hunters.
that the
I
ones
don't
that
think
said
you can
there's a
hunt.
huge? You guys seen the big cat?
Yeah,
There's a monster. He's
Oh, we
seen
saw
you.
some tracks. We did see a track. Saw a track that was like as big as Jake's foot. There's a picture somewhere if anybody still has it, where your foot is like in the track comparing size.
cat tracks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it got. I
It's a
remember
big-
it got really
kitty.
cold on that trip. We used to bring like little thermometers with us and take like the temp outside. And I think that one of the final nights there, we were recording like 0 degree.
It got windy too. Remember?
Do you think the cat was just sneering off in the distance? Look at these clowns. T-Max doesn't even have Kobe's.
we had the bomb shelter, right? Or the
No,
guiding
we had
light.
the Arete,
Oh, was that
an
the-
REI
yeah,
3
the
season 10.
Arete.
It worked good on the. That was probably like what it's made, like a perfect tent for those sort of adventures. Yeah, that was a fun. That was like our first legit overnight winter backpacking trip, I think.
You know what's funny is like we snowboarded at that time. It took us a little while though to connect the dots and be like, oh, winter in the mountains
You should take
and
a snowboard.
snowboarding,
Yeah.
right? Because we did kind of a lot on snowshoes before we switched over to splitboard. Well, it's probably a financial thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a revolutionary year in the mountains of like learning that you could go in the winter time. Because I think that next year, that was in December, probably December of 2010, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I think that next year we did, I think we did trips to like, we tried to do Mount Langley.
I went on that one.
Yeah.
What do you think the statute of limitations is to having fires in the wilderness?
I don't know, but we've done it on so many trips. I think in the wintertime, the unspoken rule is that fires are,
Necessary.
yeah.
Yeah, it's about survival. Well,
And,
although
like-
we've had a lot of fires in the fall.
But I think in the,
A light dusting.
Remember the Willow Lake trip? We were burning tons of wood,
we
was
just
a
had
lot
like
of
a
snow,
fire
though.
going the whole time.
That was a lot of snow though.
and we
We were catching trout.
were absolutely. I've never had a fishing experience like that. You couldn't miss.
That's all we did all day.
That
We'd
trip
wake up
made
in
me
the
sick of
morning.
trout.
Ah, there was a fair amount of puffing too.
Yeah, but as far as like activities go, we didn't do anything other than like basically like smoking weed or going and like posting up on the creek and tossing a line in.
I was on cloud nine. Little I knew, after returning back to Tahoe, I was about to be interrogated and threatened with physical harm for selling off some of the family's firewood.
Was that the Corey operation?
Yeah. I had like let a couple cords go while they were off drinking or doing whatever and thought they wouldn't notice by like rearranging the wood. And although it took a week or two, eventually they noticed. And unfortunately for me and Will, they noticed at like their drunkest. And it was a major kerfluffle.
Yeah, that was the season. That was probably right before the trip that we were just talking about, going to attempt Tyndall, because I think that was this. I didn't live in Tahoe anymore,
Nope.
so it was the season after.
That would have been
2010.
2009. That trip was fall of October of 09. A huge rainstorm had hit
Yeah.
Tahoe about a week before the trip that resulted in snow. It was a ton of snow when
Yeah.
we went on that October trip.
Isn't it crazy to think how different those areas are? Like we're talking about the South Fork Big Pine, and and the North Fork is like a whole different animal now. But that was 15 years ago. Those places were so different.
I mean, crowd wise.
Yeah, crowd wise.
Yeah, I know.
Social
it's
media has
sad.
blown up the North Fork.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll go away though. Maybe it'll wane.
yeah.
Although-
Hopefully it does.
The North Fork was like one of in my like mind of like backpacking
The
and like
penultimate-
just going out into the wilderness. That was like the first place that to me that it felt like that we went on our own without going with like parents or stuff. Like it felt
Yeah.
like it was really cool. It felt like this is this is ours,
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, that was such a cool.
so much better than the South Fork. After several South Fork trips, I'm not a fan.
We really spent a lot of time in the South Fork though. We went on so many trips
Remember that
trying
one
to
we
get
went
Sil.
with a bunch of people?
Yeah.
Where we like post hold. It was
We-
like with Veronica and Danny and David, and it was like
Yep.
a fall trip.
Yep.
We ended up post holing deep.
That was a trip that there's a
Hey,
photo.
Greg.
Yeah,
and
Greg
Steve.
came and I have a photo of Steve posing with Greg's gun. Just like a big like goofy grin on his face.
We got skunked on that trip. We got turned back. I remember we were post holing in like
We made it
knee-deep.
pretty high though on that trip.
We made it
to
well above
Lenore.
Willow.
It's funny though because all those trips in my mind were like spin-off trips from our first trip to the North Fork of the Big Pine Creek because we tried to climb scramble up Mount Sill, you, me, and Greg.
Uh-huh.
And I think you were feeling like sick kind of early on. And so you were like turned back to camp, and Greg and I continued and we got up to a notch and just didn't have like the skills or like ability or knowledge to like do the little like class 4 traverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so we bailed, but it like stuck. It was like a thorn in our craw. We're like, we got to get Sill. And so then the research started like, well, what's the easiest way to climb Mount Sill? And it's like, well, there's a class 2 route up the southwest face. And so we're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
we
yeah,
got to
yeah.
go on the South Fork and like go up Scimitar Pass and approach it from the other way. And then we had so many trips up the South Fork where we got lost. We went the
Too
wrong
much
way.
snow.
Weather thwarted us. Like, I remember we did a trip where we just totally went up an entirely wrong drainage. I think you were there.
Yep. Oh,
Kyle
yeah, with
Foltz
Kyle Foltz.
was
and we
there.
set up camp.
We set up camp in just like a weird drainage or whatever, and we're like, Scimitar's just got to be like a little bit further, and it was terrible weather.
Was that was spring? I think it was like
Maybe.
April.
That was so fun though.
Yeah, and then I think we were looking at maps. We're like, oh, that's not Scimitar. Like this isn't.
We just camped
yeah,
in the snow, and then after a day
and
or
then
two,
glissaded down. But yeah, we had a bunch of trips, all
Watch
in
TV,
effort.
dude. Watch TV.
oh, and
Yep.
then we had another
Smoked
trip.
weed.
Remember where we camped at that higher elevation lake? Was that the same
Think-
trip?
Finger Lake, maybe.
Yeah, or that was the one we actually. No, that was the trip where we went up Scimitar.
Yeah, and that
Ice axed our way up Scimitar.
was with Tyler was on that trip.
Yep.
And on that trip, Greg and I finally did summit Sill. We went up Scimitar, and I think most other people turned back, but Greg and I continued on and eventually topped out.
That's right.
And at the time, that was like my mountaineering like white whale. Like I was like, we
Yeah.
got Sill. Like other peaks are gonna start falling now. Like it's so funny.
Mount Sill's still my favorite mountain in the Sierra. I think.
Yeah,
Such a prominent
You
peak.
did it again with me later. We just
we've
did.
done it.
The Swiss Rat.
I think we've now done it a bunch.
And then we had a.
I actually
that is still the highest elevation I've slept in. That was
14,000
horrible
feet.
sleep.
that I came across a video of us a bunch of videos of us climbing Mount Sill, and you can tell we're climbing the Swisseret on Mount Sill, and you can tell in the beginning, like there's videos of us like camping at probably like Third Lake on the way in, and you're like in good spirits, and then I think the next clip is at the base of the Swisseret, and you can tell you are not happy. You're like, I can't believe I've been conned into doing this, like this godforsaken route or whatever. And in all of our like communication, like I'm like kind of chipper, and I'm like, all right, climbing, and you're like, on belay. You're not happy.
I
And
remember
then there's a moment later on in the climb, I think, where I'm like yelling down at you, like, we've like passed like the crux or whatever, and you're like, what? Really? I can't tell you how happy that makes me.
I was climbing with a frame pack.
Yeah, heavy
You guys,
pack.
you guys
heavy
were
packs.
setting out to do the traverse, right?
I don't think we were setting out to do the traverse. I think we were setting out to climb Sill, touch Pulmonium, and wrap the U-Notch.
Okay.
My mistake was climbing with climbing shoes. I should have just worn
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward
approach
climb.
shoes.
Yeah.
That was one of my more proud moments, was when I led the Swisserette all by myself with Mike Newmaster following.
What's the Swiss
That
at?
was
5'6" or 5'7"?
5'7", I think.
Okay.
One of the only like alpine climbs that like I led the whole thing.
A Sierra Classic. That was
Yeah.
not recently, but more recently than what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. It was like later on.
I remember
Climbing
Mike
for me.
came back from that day and he was like, my feet are ruined.
Dude, that was so funny. I remember we were like coming back through what probably was like borderline wet avalanche snow conditions, and we were just so miserable. Then we got past the snow and we stopped on like the moraine, the rocks, and we smoked a joint, and then like we got back up and we started like hiking down the trail, and like 20 minutes later I was like, Mike, dude, I feel so much better now. And he's like, yeah, dude, it's probably because we smoked that joint 20 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, good point. That's true.
I remember
Mountain
being
medicine.
absolutely miserable sleeping there that night. We ran out of water. We had no water.
Yeah, we might have run out of fuel
And
to
we ran out
melt
of field to melt snow.
snow, and there's no water, so that was the only way that we could get water.
Ugh.
My favorite Swisserette story
Why
is,
did we sleep up there? Why did we
I
just...
think we wanted to.
But we had time. We could have rappelled down Pulmonium
Oh yeah,
and gone down the U-Notch and had time
yeah. I
before
think
dark
we
hit.
wanted to sleep up high.
Yeah.
It's
That was
fun
a
to
good
sleep
trip,
at
though.
elevation. I think
Stars are nice. It was a cold night.
it was a cold night for sure.
And that was May, maybe? No.
Probably.
June, May,
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it was chilly.
my favorite Swisserette story is when Jake and I went to go climb it. I think we might have been setting out to do the traverse, maybe. But I kind of wasn't feeling it already. And then you tied up and went to go lead the first pitch. And you got a little bit up, and you threw up everywhere, like a ton of throw up. And I was like, Jake, dude, I don't think this is chill. I don't want to do this. You don't feel good. I don't feel like I don't know. I'm not that into this. Let's just go down. Let's go back. So we start. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm down. I feel like shit. And so we went back, and then as we were boulder hopping on like that endless sea of granite boulders for the moraine, we saw these people boulder hopping up to us, and like we got closer to them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that person has a canteen like Mike. And as we got closer, we're like, dude, it is Mike. And
On a completely separate trip?
Yep.
yeah, we didn't even know he was going to be there. We randomly just ran into him up there.
Nice.
We
It
said, what
was
up?
like Mike, Evan, Dylan, and someone else. Chris Bernard, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it was like 4 of our lifeguard buddies
Nice.
just ran, like tripping up the glacial
it was
moraine.
such a cool moment. Like, I remember that moment a lot, like
Yeah.
vividly, you know. I remember it well.
I think we were on a car-to-car mission, right?
It was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
So we had to say, all right, later,
weren't
we'll see you later.
backpacking.
We hung out with them for a little bit.
so it's kind of like Homeward Bound when Shadow comes up the hill.
Exactly like that.
I disliked Homeward Bound so much that I haven't seen it in decades. I won't watch it.
Really?
Wow.
It's too sad. Yeah.
Oh, it's a classic.
Does it end badly? I don't remember.
No, it ends well, but it's also sad. Dude, he has to give up his pets. It's so sad. He has to drop the
I don't think I
dogs
remember
off
it
at
well
the farm.
enough
It
to,
starts off really shitty.
yeah.
He has to the kid has to drop off his dogs at a farm and give up his pets because he's moving cross country.
And they come home.
and then they bust out of the farm and they go through all their trials and adventures, and then
Chance.
they get home.
Shadow.
Chance, yeah.
Sassy.
And once in the first 5 minutes, I turned that movie off because it's too sad for me.
Yeah.
That's great. Great acting.
Stellar cast.
I mean, it's not quite on the level of Air Bud, but, you know.
Air Bud's not sad. Air Bud is not that sad. Well, it's true.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, this has been enlightening.
I swear we do occasionally talk about surfing, but sometimes we just get stuck in
I've
the
been on a heater.
nostalgia.
I can talk. Well,
Yeah.
part of the problem is you've been traveling and a little bit out of the surfing game. I've surfed.
I'm in the
let me tell you
kneeboarding
something.
community now.
Oh, hey, I have a short soft top that I don't really like. That you can. Would you be interested in using it for kneeboarding?
Maybe.
It might make a
yeah.
good kneeboard. The surf was on fire. It was really good. It was peaky and very fun. I went to Uppers on Friday, and that was. I've had better, dude. It wasn't that great.
I like the distinction. The surf has been really fun. Peaky, epic. I went to Uppers. I've had better.
Well, dude, I got that flu, and I just felt so tired surfing. Like, I feel fine now, pretty much normally or everyday life. But when you're surfing and you're really exerting yourself, it's like, dude, I feel weak just starting to paddle out.
Were you on a
surf.
shortboard?
I was on a longboard at Uppers, but the problem with Uppers was I got down there, and it was really good longboarding, but there were already like two guys with longboards out already. That's not a good sign. First
No.
light, And so eventually there were like 10 longboarders out and like maybe 5 or 6 shortboarders, and I don't like that. I like it when it's like 10 shortboarders and like
Yeah, you
You're
want to
the
three or
be
4
the
longboarders.
top dog, longboarder.
Well, and I just like I want to go for, and I like to go for the waves that go through, that inside that the shortboarders don't even really want because they're the smaller ones.
Yeah.
That's what I want on a longboard. But when it's all longboarders, they want those too. It sucks.
Yeah.
It also wasn't it was like a one takeoff spot wave day. It wasn't, sometimes it'll break like at the top and then also swing wide through various points of the point there. It wasn't really doing that. It was like always at the top. So I don't know. It's kind of a concentrated crowd.
You hate to see it.
I went there first light and I was supposed to go with Matt, and I had talked to Matt about it the day before, and I said, dude, let's go. Let's wake up at 5. We'll be driving by 5:30. I'll pick you up. I woke up at 5. And guess what? I read a text from him from the night before after I'd gone to sleep that said,
Hey, man.
what time are you thinking tomorrow? And so I woke up at 5. I did my whole thing. And like 5:30 came and went. I said, all right, dude, last chance. I got to go. So I went surfing.
Without
and then
Matt.
I surfed for a little bit, yeah. And then I was coming in. And I heard this doofus on the berm going, David! David! I looked up and there
That's
was
a good Matt.
Yeah. There was Matt. So I went back out and surfed like another half an hour with him.
You know that scenario reminds me. This is like when we were started surfing a lot more, like in high school.
I said that would happen all the time.
But we didn't
You'd
have
go to
phones.
the person's house and be like,
We didn't even have. We didn't have cell phones, and so you'd coordinate like the day before. You'd be like, "Hey, I'll
Need
pick
it.
you
Well,
up tomorrow."
hold on, though. Let me say it didn't happen all the time.
Oh, I'm
we
saying
were
it-
all pretty good about waking up.
I
early
remember
for
times though
missions.
you'd like
It didn't happen all the time, but it wasn't.
It happened before.
It
happened
wasn't an
occasionally.
uncommon
get
occurrence.
to the person's house
And
you're
it
like,
went
well, their
both
car's
ways.
there. And like, all right,
You'd be outside and you'd be like, "Should I honk? It's really early in the
do
morning."
I rap
Like-
on the window?
like maybe a quick honk or whatever, and then you kind of be sitting there and you'd be like, "All right, I've been here for 15 minutes. I think I'm just gonna go."
No, but you know what? One thing that's always been good is, especially you, Jesse. You're down when you're good when you agree to do it. You just don't usually want to wake up early. But you guys are good at waking up early and mobilizing early. Like, not everybody is good at that. You know?
I know it's frustrating though. Like if I say I'm gonna, it's pretty rare. I'd say in my career of skiing and snowboarding, if I say I'm gonna, I just don't have time now. But back when, if I agree to surf in the morning, I don't cancel, or I don't cancel like waking up to go. It doesn't happen
We had
unless
yeah,
I had drank too much, or like there wasn't a. It would be like we'll get
Yeah,
them
no,
later.
you're pretty good about
we had a
waking up.
a pretty solid bit when we were like getting into surfing when we were in high school of practicing getting up at like ungodly, like going way earlier than you even needed to, like waking,
Yeah.
being like, all right, we're going to
4
be on the
a.m.
road at 4:30 and we'll
No, I
check
bet
it
it's
at
more
5.
I bet it's more like 5 a.m. in the middle of winter when it doesn't get light until like 7. you
Yeah.
know?
But I can remember multiple times being down for surf sessions.
We
like-
surfed before school.
Yeah.
We made it back. Well, maybe not for first period.
But I think we also did that when we didn't have first periods. Like we maybe got to come back for like second period.
I didn't have any periods.
I can remember the the campus like security, Betty, sweaty Betty, patrolling in the golf cart, and we'd be like trying to sneak back on campus, like still like salty, wet, covered in sand,
I hope I find a job I take as serious as she took. That
trying to
job.
brush our teeth at a drinking fountain.
I remember one time going surfing with Jesse, but not you, Jake, before school. And then we came back, and I think your dad, who worked at the school, walked up to us, like snuck up to us in the parking lot, was like, Jesse. And I think you had also broken Jake's board. Do you remember this? You
I
borrowed
think I
it
do.
and you
It
broke
was a
Timmy
T. Patterson.
Yeah. Dude, I was like, Jesse. And I think it's because you'd missed the first period or two.
Oh, good.
How much
times.
grief do you think we caught? Our dad worked at the high school that we went to, and we were not
Model students.
model
by any
student
stretch.
citizens. How much grief do you think we caused?
You never gave anybody amnesia, though.
I remember. Do you remember David went through a phase at his senior year where he refused to wear shoes
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he just
barefoot.
walked around barefoot, and eventually, most teachers didn't seem to care. One teacher just stuck. It was like, you can't do that. And he's like, well, I don't have shoes. And she's like, well, we've got to get you shoes. He's like, well, I don't have any on the premises. She's like, you don't have shoes you can put on your car. I'm like, no, I came to school with no.
Yeah, I didn't want to wear shoes.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Yep.
Looking back, a little disgusting. I mean, walking into public.
Barefoot? At a,
What?
that,
Why is it
mean-
any different than the bottom of your shoe? The bottom of my shoes are not any cleaner than the bottom of my feet.
I would
are
say it's probably a pretty good way to pick up some good foot fungus. Walking through a high school,
Hey,
including the
they? Let
bathrooms.
me tell you this. I'm untouched, dude. I got clean toenails.
Prove it.
I got good.
I've had toenail fungus before, and I never went barefoot. Oh, that's not true. I probably went barefoot at Tustin High. I think that's, yeah.
Good place to end this.
Yes. I had toenail fungus before. Here, let me show you. Does this look like a rat?
I had to get it surgically removed, and it
Oh, no.
was totally chill operation. And then I went on I had a climbing trip planned the next day.
Surgically removed.
Like
fungus?
surgically removed, like outpatient. Like you go in, they don't put you out. They just like provide or like do like topical.
Did they like wince and say like that's gross? Or did
No,
they
he
just-
said. I remember the doctor I went to go see was like, well, you could like take medication, or we could just like remove it, like do this like short little like procedure and remove it, and it'll be way quicker. And I was like, let's just do that.
Mungie climbing shoes.
And no, I don't know why, like how I got it or why I got it, but it was just like the toenail got like hollow, and so then they removed it, and it didn't hurt at all, probably because they like provided local anesthetic or whatever. And then I went on a climbing trip not even thinking about it.
Oh,
and then the
must've been
next day
excruciating.
when it wore off and I was shoving my foot into a climbing shoe with no nail, I was like, oh, this is so painful. I was climbing in Red Rocks and I just remember being really bummed
Although
entire
it doesn't
trip.
it doesn't take too long before that skin kind of toughens.
I think the first like 2 days of the trip were brutal, and then it was better. And I just like wrapped it with Coban and called it good.
Say, any interest in?
Yeah, we could
What time is it?
9:20.
Yeah, let's card it up.
All right.
All right, later, everyone.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Maybe.
Peace.